Dr. Ria and Sahani sir. Good evening, good afternoon, and good morning. This is the 1508th day of continuous webinar conducted by International Forum for Promoting Homeopathy. Today, our guest is Dr. Pavitra Gaur from Delhi. Let us begin the session with 1 minute silent prayer. Thank you all. As you all know, the International Forum for Promoting Homeopathy comprises of homeopathy lovers, students, and homeopathy doctors. And we have 3 sessions every day. And the first session of the day is already over. As you know, that is our Hindi session from 7:30 to 8:30. And from 8:30 to 9:30, we have our international session in English. And from 9:30 to 10:30, we have our local language session in Malayalam. All these sessions are going in a good way, and we are uploading the videos of the same on the very next day itself so that you can watch again and again and share with your friends. And of course, you can subscribe it without paying a penny. And that's the beauty of the International Forum for Promoting Homeopathy. And the purpose of this forum is to connect among the doctors all over the world, as well as propagate homeopathy among public also. That's why we have homeopathy lovers also with us. And we are lucky to have a guest from Delhi today. Our guest is Dr. Pavitra Gaur, and she has completed her BHMS and now doing a MD in the Department of Materia Medica. She is a very good student of homeopathy, and that's why she got the gold medal for her BHMS. And so congratulations, Dr. Pavitra Gaur, for that also. And she has published many articles in various journals as well as newspapers. And she is she is very much interested in research as well as clinical practice also. So we proud today here she is talking about the organ remedies and homeopathy. As you know, all know that homeopathy is a very different system where people used to prescribe single remedy for almost all constitutional medicine. But of course, in different conditions, we have to use organ remedies as per the requirement of the patient. Particularly in the pathologically advanced cases, we can apply these organ remedies in a better way also. So let us proudly welcome the guest of the day, Dr. Pavitra Gaur. Welcome, doctor. You can have the presentation for the next 45 minutes, and then we will have a discussion for some few minutes. Yes, you can unmute yourself. You are co-host in both the. You are co-host. You can unmute yourself. I have made you co-host in. No, this one. One is okay. Now you are co-host. Yes.
Am I audible, sir?
Yes.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much for introduction, sir. Can I start the session for today, sir?
Yes. Yes.
I hope the screen is visible.
Yes. Yes. The screen is visible.
Okay. So a warm welcome from my side to everyone. And uh, the topic for today's webinar is organopathy and homeopathy. Now, why this topic regarding this webinar? Since we all know that in homeopathy, we treat the patient as a whole. But organopathy is something which is limited in prescriptions. Like prescriptions we can make, but for making a prescription, we have to be a little more knowledgeable regarding the pathology, the physiology of the organ. So this is the reason I took up this topic for this webinar. Proceeding further. Now, by Edward Merrin, MD, FRCP, formerly lecturer on comparative anatomy at St. Thomas Hospital. He made a statement in his one of the journal, which I read. The curative powers of the medicines are therefore grounded upon the faculty which they possesses of creating symptoms similar to those of the disease itself. Now, it's the basic principle of homeopathy which lies is similia similibus curenta. Let likes to be treated by the likes. But generally, we interpret this as only giving constitutional medicine, a single dose medicine, no frequent repetition, or depending upon the susceptibility of the patient. But for the organopathic prescriptions also, we have a similar principle of treating a disease by the medicine having producing the similar symptoms, or the treating the disease having the local symptoms, common symptoms of the disease, and giving the medicines which are most similar to that affected organ or the weakened organ. So this is the principle that we abide by. Moving on to another slide, homeopathy. Now, we are all well versed with the term constitutional. Constitutional is a cumbersome process. It's not a cumbersome process, I must not say this thing, but it's a long process of a case taking in which presenting complaints of the patient. Patient comes to us, visit our OPDs, hospitals, or clinic. We take a proper case, presenting complaints, mental generals, physical generals. Then, physical generals also, we have other appetite, thirst, desire, aversions. So, and then after taking whole of the case, we have to make a totality of the symptoms. After making the totality of the symptoms, we have to go further and repertorize the case. After repertorizing the case, we have to make a repertorial totality, and in the end, we get a group of similars. After which, we have to select the most similar medicine. The most similar medicine which we have to give the patient, which will be selected basically after uh, concerning the materia medica, that is constitutional. Then comes the symptomatic. Now there are other kind of prescriptions also, for which the patient visits our hospital and they give us just one or two keynote symptoms, and we just have to make a prescription for that. Symptomatic prescriptions we have to make, so there are symptomatic prescriptions. Then comes the organopathy. Now organopathy is basically what we have to discuss in this session, so I will discuss further, but giving a brief introduction over here, organopathic prescriptions are making a superficial totality of the symptoms. Patient coming us with a particularly specific organ, affected organ, and he gives us the local symptoms of that specific disease, and we have to make the prescription. The case taking is superficial case taking. It's not a deep case taking like in constitutional case taking. So superficial case taking has to be done, and after a very good knowledge of pathology and physiology, we have to prescribe the most specific medicine which can affect that particular organ. Symptom similarity, let likes to be cured by the likes, like similia similibus curanta. So that kind of prescriptions comes up under organopathic prescriptions. Then, since there might be a bit confusion after this webinar if you read about organopathy, and then you can come to read about the another term, that is organopathy. So this is the reason I have to share this thing over here, that organopathy. Now, organopathy is basically treating patients by potentizing the material which we obtain from the organ or the system. These can be basically the nosodes or sarcodes, but basically the sarcodes that we potentize, and then we give it to the patient for the affection of a particular organ. That comes under organotherapy. I hope I'm clear. Now, moving forward, what basically is organopathy? Organopathy is a simplified form of homeopathy. How come simplified form of homeopathy? Homeopathy, a, a detailed case taking we have to go for. Organopathy, a superficial case taking we have to go for. This organopathy is referred to as sibling of homeopathy. Now, it is considered as sibling of homeopathy, a part of homeopathy. It is not different from homeopathy, but a part of homeopathy. Specific homeopathic remedies having specific action on the specific organ has been termed as homeopathic organopathic drugs. Now, there are certain kind of medicines which have specific action on the specific organs, and in case taking also we will come, if we will come across certain kind of patients which give us a specific set of symptoms which will correspond to a specific disease. Those kind of cases have to be dealt with specific homeopathic drugs, but a sound knowledge of physiology and pathology has to be made before making any kind of prescriptions. Now, how come this concept aroused? This was first introduced by Radmacher, a physician practicing in Germany in 19th century. He followed the footsteps of Paracelsus. Paracelsus was the one who introduced the concept of doctrine of signature, who proposed the idea of doctrine of signature for the therapeutic use. Now, doctrine of signature is basically that nature provides what is necessary for health and well-being of all living things, and that each element has a role or benefit that contributes to the greater good. Nature itself provides things for the betterment or the benefit of an individual. So, Paracelsus' idea was put forward by Rademacher. Rademacher was one who distinguished between universal remedies and parentheses. Universal remedies are polycrest remedies, which are very well proven remedies. Parentheses are the organ remedies, which are not very well proven. There are certain a lot of actually rare remedies which are not very well proven. So he made a distinguished uh, literature regarding universal remedies and parentheses. He felt the need to treat individual parts. Rademacher felt the need of treating the parts individually. He stressed that if an affection lies primarily in a specific organ, then that should be treated first. So he stressed that if a specific organ is affected, then that organ should be treated first. With superficial case taking, focusing majorly upon an affected organ and complaints arising from it. So, the affected organ has to be treated first with a specific organ remedy. This was the idea which was put forward by Rademacher, who was introduced himself from the concept by Paracelsus. Now, the organotropic use of homeopathic medicines is historically associated with the use of mother tinctures or low potencies. Now, the use of organopathic drugs, homeopathic medicines, is historic, like from past times, has been associated with the use of mother tinctures or low potencies. And this was the concept which was put forward by Dr. James Compton Burnett. He worked upon that there are certain kinds of medicines which are low potencies. Organopathic prescriptions, as we all know till now, are founded on Paracelsus concept, which states that medications impact certain organ parts according on self-elective preferences. Now, obviously, they have a self-elective preferences. They have a particular pathology for which they are known. There are certain kind of medicines we know that worked upon a certain pathology. Like a very simple example is of chelidonium. It works for jaundice, a liver remedy. Cardias marianus work as a liver remedy. Then there's cyanothus, which works as a splenomegaly, for splenomegaly. So there are certain kind of medicines we know that has a organ affinity that works according to the organ specific. They are organ specific. Now, organopathy is a type of treatment in which, unlike standard homeopathic case taking, the locality of symptoms indicated and their relationship to a specific organ dictate the remedy to be described. Organ specific these kind of medicines are, as we are discussing till now. Many physicians, including Dr. J.H. Clark, Artie Cooper, Boker, and Burnett, have expressed their experiences regarding the significance of choosing organopathic medicines, the effectiveness, then other guiding symptoms, causations, and miasms are scarce or unavailable. Now, our stalwarts have basically held this idea of prescribing organopathic medicines when there are not much guiding symptoms, other guiding symptoms. And basically, the common symptoms of the disease we are finding. The causations and miasms are scarce or unavailable. When there is scarcity of miasms or the miasms are unavailable, at that moment we have to go for organopathy or the organopathic drugs as per our stalwarts. Moving forward, according to different stalwarts. Now, Paracelsus, as he was the one who laid the idea of doctrine of signature, he made a great practical use of idea that each organ of the body has its counterpart in nature. In traditional herbal medicines, many substances have found their way into the use by application of doctrine of signature, whereby the plant shape, coloring, habitat, and other features have been utilized as guide to the therapeutic applications. Now, we all have studied about doctrine of signature, that there is a certain physical characteristic, morphological characteristic that pertains to a certain organ of the body. The a very common example is of euphrasia medicine, which like the plant has the corolla, which is the shape of the eye. So from that thing, that particular drug has an affinity for eye. So this is the very simple basic principle for which the doctrine of signature was found by Paracelsus. Another is Rademacher, as we all know, who practiced in Germany in the early 19th century. created his own therapeutic method that was distinct from the radical new approach introduced by Hahnemann, that was the constitutional prescribing, and his followers. He was primarily an empiricist, and throughout his writing, he expresses thanks to Paracelsus, because he was the one, Radmacher was the one who was very much impressed by the idea of Paracelsus, so he put forward the things from whom he received much inspiration. Radmacher was able to distinguish between universal remedies that were required to heal the entire body and the organ remedies. We have already learned in the beginning that he distinguished between the universal remedies and the parentheses. Parentheses are the organ remedies that were required to cure specific sections. His experience showed him that many diseases were solely dependent on an imbalance inside a certain organ, and hence could be completely treated by a medicine that restored the organ's natural functions. Okay, so in his experience, Radmacher learned that there were many diseases which solely dependent on imbalance inside a certain organ. That certain diseases are just arising because a certain organ is being affected and it is not working properly, and hence could be completely treated by a medicine that restored the organ's natural function. And he also thought that there are certain medicines which can restore the organ which is toxified, which is weakened. So there can be a particular medicine which can treat that particular weakened organ or the organ which is toxified from the disease. He emphasized that organ cures could only treat the basic illness of the organ in question, and a correct determination of the etiology of the organ sickness was critical. Now, he also said one thing, that organ cures could only treat the basic illness of the organ in question, and a correct determination. Now, what is the thing with organopathy or the organopathic prescriptions? It's like we will prescribe the medicines. We are prescribing the medicines according to the symptom similarity of the organ. We are not taking the patient as the whole, but what is the etiology behind the affection of the organ? If that etiology is something else which might affect whole of the person afterward, we have to take this that thing into account, and we have to treat that thing later on, which is obviously because with the help of the constitutional medicine, that we have to treat the patient after giving the organopathic medicine, or after the organopathic approach we have to go back to the constitutional medicine. Or also there are now combined therapies in which the constitutional medicine is also prescribed and organopathic medicines are also prescribed. So the proper etiology should also be known after treating that particular organ. Moving forward, Dr. James Compton Burnett. Dr. Burnett made extensive practical use of concept that each organ in the body has natural equivalent. Many substances have found their way into the traditional herbal medicines. Now, he has also tincture or disease. Now, Dr. Compton Burnett used to prescribe the constitutional remedies in medium potencies or the high potencies usually, and the organ remedies, organ specific remedies in mother tincture or low potencies. He started treatment sometimes with the constitutional remedy and sometimes with an organ remedy, according to his assessment of their relative importance in a particular case. Now, according to what a particular case is giving, like what are the type of the symptoms a particular case is giving, he used to segregate those things and he used to prescribe those medicines, either it's constitutional or organopathic, and that too in medium or high potencies or in low potencies. He says, in fine, I would summarize the whole thing thus. When the organ ailing is primarily to the organ, use organ remedies in material doses, frequently repeated. Where the organ ailing is of a piece of pathology with that of the organism, use the homeopathic simillimum in high potency, infrequently repeated. That is how I work with much satisfaction and delight at the curative results so obtained. Sometimes an organ remedy was sufficient. Now, what he says that where we have to make organopathic prescriptions, when the ailing or the affection primarily lies in the organ, then give the organ remedy. And when the etiology is someone else, but the presenting feature is the organ, that primary obstacle, we can say a primary obstacle to cure. When the primary obstacle to cure is a particular organ, give the organ remedy. And when the etiology is someone else, and because of that the organ is affected, treat the etiology first, and then we can go for constitutional treatment. Sometimes an organ remedy was sufficient. And he also emphasizes one thing, that sometimes an organ remedy was sufficient to treat a certain organ. Now, there was another contribution of French school of homeopathy for organopathic approach. The French homeopaths Nabel, Vanier, Julien, and others have made significant contributions to the field of organ therapies and homeopathy. They established the concept of drainage, in which organs or systems are detoxified and toned up before delivering the prescribed constitutional cure, principally to minimize undue aggravations. Now, French School of Homeopathy, they established a particular concept of drainage in organs. Organs which are filled up with certain kind of toxins, they have to be removed before uh, before they have to be detoxified and toned up, since because of certain kind of toxins they are weakened, so they have to be toned up before delivering the prescribed constitutional medicine. Before delivering the prescribed constitutional medicine, principally to minimize undue aggravations. Now, organopathic prescriptions, when there is a repetitive use of mother tincture, the body obviously get weakened. So to avoid that undue aggravation of prescribing mother tinctures repeatedly, frequently, then we have to give the constitutional cure. That is as per the as per the contribution of French School of Homeopathy. Moving forward, now, as we all know now that everything is related. Organopathy, doctrine of signature. So, a brief overview on doctrine of signature. Doctrine of signature was developed by Swiss physician Paracelsus. We all know this thing. He wrote that nature makes each growth according to its own curative benefit. Nature makes each growth according to its own curative benefit means, in essence, it reflects the idea that the nature provides what is necessary for health, that I already told you in the beginning, and well-being of all the living things, and that each element has a role or benefit that contributes to the greater good. Nature itself provide the things for curing and for the well-being and the benefit of the living being. So that was the idea behind the doctrine of signature. Doctrine of signature signals such as color, shape, and texture serve as hint points to which organ a drug treats. Like, for example, we already have an example of euphrasia, the most common example. Then there are certain drugs in homeopathy we all know that works upon the idea of doctrine of signature, depending upon the soil from which they are being extracted, or the movement of the plant, a lot of things. The covering of the shell, which we will learn forward. In homeopathy, the doctrine of signature is related between the external physical characteristic of the drug substance and the sign and symptoms of medicines produced during pathogenical trials or drug proving on healthy human beings. It is one of the sources of homeopathic Materia Medica. Many stalwarts like Dr. Constantine Herring, Dr. C.M. Boger, Dr. H.O. Robert, and Dr. J.C. Burnett had supporting attitude towards this doctrine. So we can see that uh, a lot of our stalwarts have supported this idea of doctrine of signature. Dr. Constantine Herring, Dr. C.M. Boger, Dr. H.O. Robert, Dr. J.C. Burnett. They all have supported the idea of doctrine of signature. Now, before Hahnemann, the development of homeopathic materia medica was mostly based on theoretical concept. The doctrine of signature was a great source of homeopathic materia medica. Hahnemann says that human health does not always allows medicines based on doctrine of signature. Only the drug, which after drug proving on healthy human beings, which reveal that original medicinal properties, which are very similar in morbid state, that can be administered for the ideal cure. Now, Dr. Henneman says that not every medicine which has a doctrine of signature can cure every disease. Only the drugs which are well proven on healthy human beings have given their symptoms and have treated those diseases after producing that symptoms in a morbid state, affected that morbid state in the healthy human being, can be administered for ideal cure. Not every drug which is related to a particular doctrine of signature can treat that particular disease in a individual, according to Dr. Henneman. Moving forward, there are few examples of doctrine of signature, like pulsatilla. Pulsatilla, we all know, sea anemone, is a flower, And the doctrine of signature is movement of flower. Changeability of pulsatilla is persistent. The one thing which we learn about pulsatilla is changeability, movement of flowers. Then lachesis. Now lachesis is basically suspicious, loquacious. So snake is also fretful, suspicious, and distended tongue. So patient of lachesis, we usually recognize it after case taking that, oh, certain person is loquacious, certain person is suspicious, or there is trembling, or there is fretfulness. So there is sleep aggravations, a lot of things that could pertain our knowledge towards lachesis. Now, chelidonium, the yellow juice, useful for jaundice, the liver remedy. Calcarea carp, it is a hard shell to secure the delicate body. The hard shell to secure the delicate body. Exactly the same kind of person when we come across is of calcarea carp, which is, the patient is delicate, needs to be assured frequently. So that is the doctrine of signature. Euphrasia, the most common example which I'm repeating in every slide, that is euphrasia. Black spots on corolla resembles a pupil, useful for eye symptoms. We all know the usefulness of euphrasia in curing the eye symptoms. The coryza of eyes, or the acrid discharges from the eyes, are very well covered with the help of euphrasia. So these are the few examples of doctrine of signature. Now, why is it related over here? Like, doctrine of signature can be related to organopathy, but not properly, not exactly we can say this thing. Okay. Now, what are the indications of using organopathic drugs? Indications of using organopathic drugs, since organopathy is, we all practice in clinics, and we might be practicing, but uh, I guess so that we are not well versed with this term organopathy. Now there are certain steps for which the organopathic drugs are being prescribed. So the indications of using organopathic drugs in treatment must be known for the prescription. Firstly, the symptomatology must revolve around a particular dysfunction or the weakened organ. The symptomatology must revolve around a particular dysfunction or a weakened organ. If the symptomatology is revolving, like if the patient is coming and he is giving a particular set of symptoms which are corresponding to the affection or to a particular organ, then we can go for that particular drug. If we if we have a if we have a sound knowledge of that particular drug and sound knowledge of the pathology of that particular disease, so the symptomatology must revolve around a particular dysfunction or a weakened organ. Secondly, as organ weakness is primary obstacle to recovery, then it should be dealt first. Now, now this is one of the things that if the weakness is primary obstacles to recovery, Dr. H. Robert has also talked about the deflected current. That is obstacle to cure, basically. That why are our results not uniformly satisfactory? Why doesn't the seemingly indicated remedy always work? Like if we are prescribing a constitutional medicine and on the basis of similia similibus curenta, let likes to be treated by the likes, why we are not getting the desired results? Maybe because the primary obstacle to cure lies in a particular organ or a particular dysfunction. So we have to recognize that thing, that as organ weakness is a primary obstacle to recovery, then it should be dealt first. So according to second indication, if an organ is particularly affected, then it has to be dealt first. Before treating the patient as a whole or a constitutional treatment has to be given, it has to be treated through organopathic prescriptions. Thirdly, this weakened link must be rectified before and provide the basis for action of constitutional drug. Now, if we are detoxifying an organ with the help of a particular drug, the symptom similarity or the local symptoms of the medicines, local symptom of the medicine, we are prescribing the medicine. And if it is rectified before, then only we can provide the basis for the action of the constitutional drug. Then only we can prescribe. Then any kind of after giving the organopathic prescription, we can give the constitutional drug for curing the patient as the whole. Fourthly, judicious application of organopathic drugs are necessary. Definitely. Why it's not necessary? It should be necessary since we are prescribing mother tinctures. Low potencies are prescribed and frequent repetitions are also given. So this might harm the body or to the organs, other organs also. So judicial applications of the organopathic drugs is necessary. Fifthly, it should be considered in advanced pathology, and lastly, to detoxify and tone up the weak organs. Now, it should be considered in advanced pathology. Knowledge of disease, knowledge of disease and knowledge of physiology, everything of the body has to be has to be in mind before treating a particular organ or particular disease with organopathic prescriptions. Burnett focused on organopathic case taking when Hahnemannian case taking could not come nearer to find similar. This is what Dr. H. Robert has also said, that why our results are not uniformly satisfactory. Even if we are prescribing the similimum, why we are not getting the satisfactory results? Exactly the same thing Burnett is focusing upon. That upon on organopathic case taking, when Hahnemannian case taking could not come nearer to find similimum, at that moment we can go for organopathic prescriptions. Fundamental focus was on the relationship between the organ remedies, its action, and its range of impact. So, the fundamental focus of Dr. Burnett was between the organ remedies, its action, and its range of impact. How much impact an organ remedy can have on upon an organ, how much weakness or the detoxification it can cause after prescribing. Whilst the other was on posology, including the lower potencies on mother tincture. Now, Dr. Burnett has introduced an idea that was is another his his another focus was on posology, including the lower potencies of the mother tincture, which he which he used to prescribe. Before the usage of the organopathic drugs in treatment, one must have the full knowledge of the physiology and pathology. So, fifthly, we before the treatment of the organopathic drugs, one must have the full knowledge of physiology and pathology, and that's the reason in the undergraduate years also we have been treated, we are being introduced to pathology and physiology, so that we have a sound knowledge regarding a disease. And it is actually very much important to know the action of the medicine, the action of the disease, the action of the disease, the prognosis of the disease, what kind of the disease which we are dealing, what kind of the pathology, is it irreversible, is it irreversible, is it even to be cured with orthopedics or not. So the reason we are being introduced with these physiology and pathology. Now, what can be the prescribing techniques? These are all the points which we have already discussed. Case taking with an organopathic focused is considered much more superficial than that of the classical homeopathy, much more superficial. A patient will come, we will get a set of the symptoms, which can be local symptoms, which can be the common symptoms, and upon the knowledge of the disease and knowledge of the drugs, organopathic drugs, we can prescribe the medicine. That is has to be a superficial case taking. That is not has to be detailed case taking as we do in classical homeopathy or the basic homeopathic case taking. Or secondly, organopathic case taking requires the practitioner to have vast knowledge of disease symptomatology and organ function. That is already Henneman has spoke in his aphorisms, that there has to be a sound knowledge regarding the disease, the pathology, the medicines, the drugs, and everything. Burnett had sought a system to utilize for prescribing. When classical Hahnemannian case taking, the identification of similimum was not possible. For an appropriate prescription, he considered fundamental foci of action of an organ remedy. When Hahnemannian case taking is not given, is giving us a group of the similars, and we are prescribing a medicine also, but then also we are not giving then also we are not getting the appropriate results. At that time we must move towards organ remedies. There had to be considered the relationship of remedy to a particular organ, the character of action it was able to produce, and its range of impact. Now, considered knowledge of the drug actions. Like there are certain kind of Materia Medica by Dr. W.H. Burt who give us the actions, the physiological actions of the drug. So after the sound knowledge of those physiological action of the drug, we can only after that we can prescribe the medicine for a particular organ. So that has to be done. Lastly, there is a posological aspect to organopathy. The organ remedies have stronger impact on the disease in material doses and in repetitive prescriptions. Now, why organopathic drugs are given in material doses? Because organopathic drugs are given in material doses only. So material doses only, they have a huge impact or a stronger impact organ. The lower potencies or the mother tinctures are employed in organ prescribing as due to the reduced similitude that organopathic prescriptions have. Reduced similitude, yes, definitely reduced similitude, because exactly we are not considered the patient as a whole. We are just concerned with the local symptoms. What if there is certain kind other etiology that we don't know because of our not that good knowledge? So there's reduced similitude, and because of that reduced similitude, they have to be employed. The low potencies of the mother tinctures are employed in organ prescribing. That organopathic prescriptions are prescribed in lower potencies or mother tinctures. Now, just to avoid any kind of confusion further, I have made this slide also and a distinguished feature about organopathy and organotherapy. Organopathy, by till now, I know that I have been able to help you regarding this topic. That organopathy is a basic organ is affected and a particular drug is being prescribed. So organopathy is a branch of homeopathy that emphasizes treating specific organ or tissues of the body when they are diseased. The idea is that certain homeopathic remedies have an affinity for particular organ or system in the body and can help stimulate the body self-healing processes in those area. In organopathy, the remedies are prescribed on the organ involved rather than focusing on overall constitution of the patient. These remedies are often derived from minerals, plants, or other substances that have shown effects on specific organs. Okay, these remedies are derived from minerals. We all know that there are range of medicines. There are medicines prepared from plant kingdom. There are medicines prepared from minerals. There are medicines prepared from animal kingdom. Nosodes are there. Sarcodes are there. Bowel nosodes are there. So there we have a range of medicines. So these are the medicines. Organopathy, definitely we have certain medicines which are particular in action, and we drive these medicines from mineral plants as well as other substances that have shown specific action on certain organs. Example: heart, liver, and kidney. So this was about organopathy. Now, what is organotherapy? Organotherapy refers to the therapeutic use of animal organs or granular tissues to treat diseases in humans. Therapeutic use of animal organs or granular tissues to treat diseases human. It originated in traditional medicine and was used in ancient times. But it gained popularity in 19th and 20th century with the rise of glandular supplements. Now we come across a lot of medicine like pituitarinum is there, adrenalinum is there. These are the medicines which are being potentized from glands, from the secretion of the glands. So organotherapy is basically related to giving the abstracting the secretion, potentizing it, and then after approving, we will prescribe those medicines whenever they are indicated in a person. So that is organotherapy. The principle behind organotherapy is that consuming extracts or products from healthy animal organs can help stimulate the function of corresponding human organs. These are basically sarcodes. The principle behind organotherapy is that consuming extract or products from healthy animal organs can stimulate the function of corresponding human organs. Extracting the same secretion, potentizing it, and giving it to that person is basically helping to stimulate the function which was disturbed. That can help stimulate the dysfunctioned organ is basically the principle behind organotherapy. For example, the consumption of thyroid gland extracts was once a common treatment for hypothyroidism. This is one of the examples. There are a lot of examples in homeopathy from where the secretions from the organs are taken out and it's potentized and then it is being prescribed uh, to the diseased person, and it gives remarkable results. In summary, organopathy focuses on treating specific organs, we all know. with homeopathic remedies, while organotherapy involves using animal organs or tissues to improve the health of corresponding human health. Both are alternative approaches to healing that have evolved over time. Both are alternative approaches to healing that have evolved over time. Definitely now there are different kind of researches which are going on and have shown that the combination of therapies, constitutional therapy or somatic or the organ or the organotherapy, everything has shown remarkable results. So I would like to share some of the researches. This is one of the researches which was published in IJRH, that was individualized homeopathic and organopathic supportive management of sickle cell disorder, a case series of 6 patients from a particularly vulnerable tribal group in India. So this study was carried out in India, in a tribal group in India. Why? Because they were susceptible towards the sickle cell disorder, blood related disorder. So, what were the objectives of this research? This case series aims to observe the clinical outcomes from prescribing individualized homeopathic medicines along with organopathic supportive medicines in management of SCD through the analysis of case studies of 6 patients from particularly vulnerable tribal group in India that manifest genetic predisposition for the disease. So there are genetic predisposition of the disease. So this is the reason that that tribal group in India was selected. And uh, there was organopathic, homeopathic, individualized homeopathic medicines along with organopathic supportive medicine, which was uh, which was prescribed. Result shows that individualized homeopathic and organopathic supportive management led to improvements in the clinical symptoms for all the 6 patients. Laboratory test results Laboratory test results showed a statistically significant increase in hemoglobin level associated with the treatment. The VAS for the pain indicated decreased pain frequency and severity. Pool scores also improved, indicating enhanced well being for each patient. No adverse effects were reported during the treatment. Conclusion: this study suggests that individualized homeopathic medicines and organopathic supportive management have a beneficial role in managing SCD, that is sickle cell anemia, and may be valuable in context of PVTGs in India. So this was one of the research which was carried on, and this is the research in the present scenario helps us to upgrade our knowledge regarding the use of constitutional medicine along with the supportive organopathic medicines. What past views regarding organopathic medicines have shown that organopathic prescriptions are made for a particular group of symptoms. When we are getting a patient having a particular set of symptoms or the local symptoms, and when the particular organ is affected, primary obstacle to cure is that particular organ, then we have to go for organopathic prescriptions. And if a person is showing if a person is coming with a set of the symptoms which we have to deal with, or constitutional medicine, then we have to give the constitutional medicine. But present researches which are going on has upgraded our knowledge that along with constitutional homeopathic medicine, we can prescribe organopathic supportive management, which actually enhances the results in the patient. So this was one of the research which I came across and I thought to share with you all. Another research was a study on the effect of homeopathic remedies, constitutional and organopathic, in the treatment of hemorrhoids. So another study which was carried out was of the homeopathic remedies, constitutional and organopathic, for the treatment of hemorrhoids. The result of this study was there were 70 diagnosed cases of hemorrhoids, and observing them with administration of constitutional and organopathic remedies with proper follow-up. It is observed that 45 cases, 65% have shown marked improvement from the condition before treatment, of which 31% were with constitutional remedies and 33% were with organopathic remedies. So this another research has also shown that there is improvement with the help of organopathic remedies as well, and it can be beneficial. The treatment with organopathic medicines are beneficial as compared with constitutional treatment also. Another research was constitutional organopathic and combined homeopathic treatment of benign prostatic hypertrophy. That's a clinical trial which was carried out in which constitutional, organopathic, and combined homeopathic treatment. Constitutional individual constitutional treatment was given, and then there was organopathic treatment was given, and combined homeopathic treatment of benign prostatic hypertrophy was given. So the results was benign prostatic hypertrophy is common in older men, as we all know. This study compared homeopathic treatment strategies using constitutional medicine, organopathic medicine alone, and in combination with in patients suffering from BPH. So this is the another research which help us to update our knowledge in the present era, that along with constitutional medicine, we can go for organopathic supportive treatment as well. The results of this study was 73, 70, and 77 patients respectively were sequentially allotted to OM, CM, or BCOM, organopathic medicines, constitutional medicine, and the a combination of constitutional and organopathic medicines. 180 patients, 60 per groups, completed treatment and were included in the final analysis. Overall, 85% of the patient showed improvement of the subjective symptoms such as frequency, urgency, hesitancy, intermittent flow, unsatisfactory urination, feeble stream, diminution of residual urine, but there was no reduction in prostate. Treatment response was highest with combined, that is the constitutional and the organopathic medicines, that was 38.24%, compared to organopathic medicine, that was 31.62%, and constitutional medicine, that was 30.15%. Effect sizes were highest for the decrease in IPSS, residual volume, and urinary flow rate. So this is another research which will help, which actually helps us to update our knowledge for using allopathic medicines in combination with constitutional medicine. Now, Hemant and most of the contemporary classical homeopaths advocate the use of single remedy without any interference from any other form of treatment. Yeah. So basically, Hellman sir, Kent sir, and most of the contemporary classical homeopaths always advocate of single remedy, of giving a single remedy at a single time, and infrequent repetition without any interference from any other form of treatment. That is an ideal cure. This is definitely an ideal cure which we talk about, or we learn in since beginning, that prescribing a single remedy at a single time, it's the most ideal form of cure. But it is not always attainable. Of course, why it's not always attainable? Even if we are giving a single remedy, single dose, it's not always attainable. Maybe because some problem lies. The primary obstacles lies somewhere else, and we are unaware of it. So, and it is not always justified. Of course, there are certain cases that this principle is not justified, of a single remedy prescribing at a moment and infrequent repetition. It is not always justified. And in today's world, we are confronted not only with diseases, acute or chronic, but with a slow intoxication. Intoxication is introduction of external harmful compound in the organs, and intoxication. Since in today's world there are a lot of lifestyle disorders which keeps on lingering in an organism, and the patient is unaware of that thing, and in the end the patient come across that, oh, that certain disease is which the person that I'm suffering with. So this is the thing, that we have to update our knowledge regarding the use of constitutional medicines as well, organopathic medicines as well, and inculcate the use of these medicines in combination to treat certain kind of disorders, because as the time is changing, we have to grow, we have to involve with prescribing technique also, with case taking technique also, and with the knowledge regarding the pathology and physiology of the organism, of the diseases. Our vital forces is busy fighting the poisons and the diseases with the help of most of our organs. To treat with homeopathy, we introduce an artificial disease that is supposed to displace the natural disease, but but it does not do that on its own. The remedy needs the involvement of the vital force and the active participation of all organs. That is the purpose of drainage, detoxification, or organopathy. Now, how will organopathy aid? Organopathy will help the weakened organ to tone up, and after that it will aid vital force so that a proper harmony in the body can be created. So this is basically the principle of organopathy, the detoxification and the drainage to treat a particular disease through organopathic approach. So this was uh, this was all for the today's webinar which I wanted to present. And if there are any kind of questions.
Is Dr. Pavitra Gaur. It's really a very good session, and
Thank you so much, sir.
you really show the importance of knowing the organ remedies also, and how it is being prepared, and how it is being used, and how it can be applied. All those things are very, very beautiful, nice. And what are the results that come out during research work also? You have mentioned here. I hope those who want to participate in this discussion can come out with raising your hands so that we will allow you to unmute yourself and speak. Dr. Manoj, this is a very important subject. Dr. Gaur is a very young, dynamic personality from Delhi, just
Thank you,
doing her
Ramesh.
MD.
Definitely.
Yes.
Yes.
He has mentioned a lot of things that has to be discussed and referred. Mentioned about Paracelsus, Rademacher, and the Barnett, then the French philosophers and physicians. But we must recognize where is the role of this organ remedies, and where is the position of homeopathy. And I think in this case, you as you rightly mentioned, the artificial drug diseases or the inappropriately called chronic disease, where this may be more applicable. And moreover, it always kept in abeyance the totality of symptoms, the anti-miasmatic medicines, the potentization, then again the complementary drug relationship. All these things were not followed when you apply these things. But it also, at the same time, it also utilizes a kind of similarity. There is no difference. Here, the symptoms or some common symptoms are there, so it can address and it can give some sort of relief that we always mention as palliation or some relief. That's also very important, very necessary in almost all cases. But the remembering thing is that we always should stick on the basics. That's the most important thing. Then you mentioned the difference between the organopathy and this organ therapy. That is also quite interesting. But one thing you must differentiate is that don't use the term remedy instead of drug. These are two entirely different things. And only homeopathy can provide a remedy.
Yes, sir.
The other are provide drugs. So don't use these terms synonymous. That's my suggestion.
Okay, sir.
Another thing is that always give some sort of sound modulation. So the lecturing will be more attractive. Anyway, good
Yes,
luck
sir.
and wish all the best. Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Very good comment from Dr. Manoj. Dr. Manoj was the former organic, was working as a professor, an assistant professor at Department of Organon in Sharada Krishna Homeopathic Medical College, and now one of our senior most moderator also. And he's one of the backbone of this IFPH. And now I invite Dr. Rambaresh sir to say a few words on this presentation. Yes, you can speak.
Yes.
I think there was some network problem with it.
Everyone, good evening. Very thanks and congratulations, Dr. Pavitra Gaur. Very good
so much.
session, excellent session. Organopathy in homeopathy. Organopathy and homeopathy, very good, excellent session. Angle of treatment according to law of homeopathy, symptological angle. Symptological angle, treatment, acute disease, very good action. And mathematical angle. Chronic disease treatment, mathematical angle. Without mathematical angle treatment, not cure the disease. Curative way of treatment, mathematical angle, curative way of treatment, and pathological angle, organopathy, the very difficult treatment.
Yes.
Higher education person treatment. So very thanks, Dr. Pavitra Gaur. See, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Very
Thank
thanks.
you, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Ramprasad, sir. And if anyone wants to speak for a while, you can raise your hand, or you can add anything. If you want to add anything more, you can add something more.
I think we can invite Dr. Sergi.
Yes, Sergi, sir.
Yes.
Yes, Dr. Sergi.
Okay, yes. Dr. Sergi.
Thank you and good evening. It is excellent session. It is excellent session. I Dr.
Pavitra.
Wonderful organopathy, organotherapy and organotropic remedy. And I want to ask you if you have a case and she is
Yes.
myoma and constitutional treatment I know, but which organopathic remedy first for you these patients after
Myoma?
firstly some remedy
Yes.
some remedy is coming to your mind for organopathic remedy.
Organopathy remedy regarding myoma, ma'am.
Myoma uteri.
Myoma. You tried
Myoma.
Hello.
Uteru.
Yes, Dr. Please, Pavitra, please.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
I want to ask if you have a patient
Yes, ma'am.
and you find constitution, but at the same time she has myoma uteri.
Myoma of, ma'am, actually.
Myoma uteri, yes. And which remedy comes in your mind firstly?
It's a myoma. What is it, ma'am? Actually, I'm not. Myoma.
Myoma uteri.
Myomate.
I'll write.
You may write it down so that.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Otherwise, there was a little bit of confusion going on.
Actually, there's a network issue. This is the reason. Otherwise, last time I have joined with my laptop, but this time I have a network issue. So this is the reason I'm doing it from my phone. My own. Okay.
Which remedy?
My own, ma'am. Actually, for me, it's a new term, so I have to read about it, and then I can let you know regarding this thing.
Okay, you may share the number here, Dr. Gaur, so that she can note it down, and then we can have a chat later. She can have a chat with you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Anyway.
Yes, and I say another thing. Your PowerPoint's presentation is very small. I didn't see some things. Can you?
Dr. Sarbi, we will be uploading the same on tomorrow in our YouTube, so that you can watch again and you can go through the slides once again. And even if you want to,
thank you.
You can reshare it also. Anyway,
Thank
you
you so
can
much.
say
Good
you can
evening.
say vote of thanks to Dr. Pavitra Gaur also.
Thank you, Dr. Pavitra.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Dr. Sarbi is from Turkey, and she is one of the regular visitor in our forum, and she is the one of the backbone, or she is one of the coordinator of IFPH in Turkey also. Turkey, they are doing a lot of good work for homeopathy after joining this international forum for promoting homeopathy. Anyway, thank you once again, Dr. Pavitra Gaur, for your excellent session, and
Thank you
those
so
who
much, ma'am.
participate in the sessions also. Tomorrow, at the same time, we will have a session from Dr. Vaidehi Bhatt, and Dr. will be discussing about revitalizing vein, the homeopathic solutions for varicose vein, at exactly at 8:30 p.m. Oh, thank you all. Good night. It's over to Dr. P. Shaila to moderate the Malayalam session.